Nobody, and I mean nobody, saw this coming. Katt Williams, the razor-sharp comedian who never bites his tongue, has finally broken his silence on what really happened during Kendrick Lamar's now legendary Toronto moment. And trust me, it's not just about music. What Katt just exposed is deeper, darker, and could shake up the entire hip-hop industry as we know it. Why did Kendrick's presence in Drake's hometown send such a violent ripple through the culture? Why did fans cry, rivals stay silent, and certain celebrities unfollow each other that very same night? According to Katt, it was never just a diss in a no-filter backstage rant caught on leaked audio. Katt drops insider truths that have left social media gasping, and what he revealed about a private phone call between Kendrick and a major Toronto figure might just end friendships, careers, and even expose secret deals buried for years. If you thought Kendrick versus Drake was just a rap battle, you've been fooled, because this was war. And what Katt's about to reveal next will blow your mind. Keep watching. This is just the beginning to understand the power behind Kendrick Lamar's Toronto takeover and why Katt Williams chose now to expose the truth. We need to rewind the clock. It all started years ago, when Drake was crowned the golden boy of hip-hop, Canada's pride, the Billboard king. But quietly, in the shadows, a different kind of king was rising, one not interested in flashing wealth or partying in penthouses. No, Kendrick Lamar was building something colder, heavier, realer. While Drake dominated charts with catchy hooks and mass appeal, Kendrick was dissecting social issues, calling out fake friends, and making enemies in every boardroom. And that didn't sit well with the industry's gatekeepers, especially the ones in Toronto. Enter Katt Williams. Now, what many fans forget is that Katt has deep roots in the music world. He's not just a comedian, he's a cultural observer, and more importantly, witness to the inner workings of hip-hop's most protected secrets. Years ago, Katt warned people that Hollywood and hip-hop weren't just connected, they were controlled. And he specifically hinted that certain artists were being protected at all costs by execs who didn't want truth-tellers like Kendrick to rise too high. Sound familiar? Fast forward to 2024. Kendrick launches his grand national tours and strategically plans his most explosive performance in Toronto, Drake's home turf. Not just any venue either, the Scotiabank Arena, where Drake once declared himself the king of the North. But Kendrick, he didn't come to bow. He came to burn it down. The entire show was structured like a war cry. From the lighting to the visuals, Kendrick laced the setlist with subliminals, cold messages, and direct bars aimed at one man. And when he stood on that stage, draped in black and gold, and now, he's done staying silent. Because, according to him, the Toronto moment wasn't a performance. It was a funeral. For fake alliances, for protected reputations, for industry lies. But wait, Johnny, it doesn't end there. In part 4, we're going even deeper. Because someone else came forward after that night. A former producer who worked on both Kendrick and Drake's music, and what he revealed takes this story to a whole new level. Stay tuned. Things are just heating up, just when fans thought they'd seen it all. The performance, the silence, the note, the drama escalated. And fast. Within 48 hours of the Toronto show, an anonymous producer dropped a voice note online, claiming to be a former engineer who had worked on early projects with both Kendrick Lamar and Drake. The voice? Clear, calm, and deadly serious. This ain't about who sold more records. This is about what's being erased. I seen Kendrick turn down million-dollar deals because he didn't want to lie. Meanwhile, they building Drake in a lab. Wait. Fans were shook. Reddit lit up like wildfire. Was this a metaphor? Or something deeper? Then came the kicker. Y'all don't even know. Some of Kendrick's songs were leaked internally by people on the inside. And yes, Toronto fingerprints were all over it. Now that set the internet on fire. Hashtag Kendrick News started trending again. TikTok detectives began comparing sound, leaks, and writing conspiracy threads. People started pointing fingers at producers. Managers even suggesting Drake's inner circle planted spies in Kendrick's camp years ago. And just when things were peaking, Katt Williams posted a cryptic video of himself sitting in a dimly lit room, cigar in hand, saying, "The reason they scared of Kendrick is 'cause they can't buy him." Boom. But the real shocking reveal came from another direction. A music journalist known for covering Grammy campaigns and artist feuds published a report claiming that the Toronto show wasn't just a tour stop. It was Kendrick's way of responding to an attempted career block. According to the piece, Kendrick was intentionally kept off major Spotify and Apple Music banners the week before the Toronto date. Not because of poor performance, but due to label lobbying from powerful Canadian forces. Yep. The article claimed that Drake's team pulled favors behind the scenes to block Kendrick from playlist dominance before hitting Drake's hometown. And guess what? Kendrick's Toronto setlist included 3 unreleased verses, and fans realized he'd rewritten his bars to respond to that exact power move. The craziest line: "Trying to mute a prophet only makes him louder." Now they hear me in boardrooms, not just browsers. Social media exploded. YouTubers dropped breakdowns. DJs dissected versus hip-hop. Twitter turned into a battlefield, but THE and someone else joined the war. Lupe Fiasco, the veteran MC, tweeted, "Don't be surprised if you find out who've been holding the gate this whole time." And guess what? Katt Williams liked that tweet. Now here's the part that flipped everything. A video surfaced from backstage in Toronto. It showed Kendrick leaving the venue and being approached by someone in a black hoodie. The man hands Kendrick a USB. Kendrick looks at it, then looks at the camera and says, "This ain't over." End of video. No context, no names, but fans froze. What was on that USB? A diss track, a secret tape, proof of betrayal. Nobody knew. But what we did know was this: 2 major music outlets, The Fader and Billboard, tried to cover the Kendrick-Drake tension, okay? But their stories were pulled within hours. Archived versions showed the articles briefly live, and then gone, which only fueled more suspicion. People began saying, what? Katt had been hinting all along. You don't control the game if you can't control the players. But Kendrick? He don't play. He burns the board. By now, Kendrick hadn't said a word publicly, but Katt kept fanning the flames. He went on a podcast and said, "Y'all worried about the beef, but Kendrick's playing chess 3 years ahead." Toronto was a checkmate, and they still don't know it. And with that, the Kendrick-Drake Cold War became a cultural war. Line after line from Kendrick's tour freestyles were reanalyzed. Bars that once seemed vague now felt surgical, targeted, ruthless. And guess what fans started noticing? In nearly every freestyle Kendrick performed since Toronto, he wore one thing: a golden crown pendant, small, simple, symbolic, and people believe it was a message, a warning, a promise. Because, as Katt put it, kings don't need to tell you who they are, they just show up and make the whole kingdom tremble. But wait, you think that was wild? You haven't heard what came next. In Part 5, Public and Industry Reactions. The backlash spreads, WUVIO insiders panic. Fans take sides. And someone close to Drake finally speaks out, revealing something Kendrick never wanted leaked. You're gonna wanna see this one. As the smoke billowed from Kendrick's Toronto set and Katt Williams' bombshells tore through social media, the public reaction hit like an earthquake. From fans to celebrities, everybody had something to say. Not everyone was Team Kendrick. Let's start with the internet battlefield. X. formerly Twitter, was in a full-on war zone. One user posted, "Kendrick just saw Drake in his own city and y'all still talking about CLB numbers. Wake up." Another clapped back. Drake feeds families. Kendrick feeds Reddit theorists. The debate wasn't just personal, it was spiritual. TikTok was flooded with edits of Kendrick's freestyle in Toronto, layered over footage of falling empires, burning thrones, and chessboards flipping off tables. Trending hashtags. Hashtag Toronto takeover. Katt new Drake muted. Kendrick the king. They tried to stop him. And then came the YouTubers. Reaction channels dropped back-to-back videos. Kendrick just ended Drake in his own city. Full breakdown. Katt Williams confirms industry blacklisted Kendrick. The USB footage is real. Fan theories were spiraling. Some believe the USB handed to Kendrick contained recordings of a sabotage meeting. Others claimed it held Kendrick's unreleased Drake's diss track, codenamed The Throne Burner. And then, things got even messier. Charlemagne Tha God weighed in on The Breakfast Club, saying, "This ain't just music. This is spiritual warfare. Man, Kendrick preaching truth. Drake dancing with execs. Pick a side." Boom. The culture began splitting down the middle. Ebro, from Hot 97, claimed he heard the Toronto show was almost shut down by a label executive last minute. Kendrick performed that night because fans showed up in numbers the city wasn't ready for. Even J. Cole, who's usually silent during beefs, posted a single emoji on Instagram the next morning and deleted it 10 minutes later. But screenshots last forever. Meanwhile, Kendrick remained silent. No tweets, no posts, not even a tour recap. Instead, his team dropped one cryptic image on his Instagram story. "You lit the fuse. Don't cry when it explodes." Ow. Here's the part that shocked even Katt Williams. Someone close to Drake finally spoke, an alleged OVO insider verified by multiple hip-hop blogs leaked a screenshot of a group chat between Drake, a tour manager, and a rep from Universal. One line stood out. "We underestimated how far Kendrick was willing to go. He's not playing the same game." That message was sent 1 hour after Kendrick left the stage in Toronto. But there's more. The same insider dropped an image of a red notebook with Tour 7, Setlist V2, scribbled across the top. The setlist had a song circled, "Mortal Letter, Unreleased Diss." Now fans were demanding it. "Drop Mortal Letter" began trending worldwide. Then came the memes. Kendrick sitting on the Iron Throne, Drake holding the L, like Simba in The Lion King. Even corporations jumped in. Popeyes tweeted, "Kendrick ain't the type to chicken out." But not everyone was laughing. The industry was spooked. One exec from a major label, who asked to remain anonymous, told Rolling Stone, "This is the most disruptive feud since Pac and Big. But this time, it's calculated. Kendrick is strategic, and he has allies we don't even know about." Suddenly, old tweets resurfaced. A 2016 tweet from Katt Williams. "Kendrick ain't trying to be famous. He's trying to be free." People started connecting dots. Kendrick's lyrics, Katt's interviews, the Toronto set, the USB. The diss track. Was this all part of a master plan? Back at the top of the food chain, Drake was quiet. But sources say his team is in crisis mode, trying to control the narrative, delay media leaks, and possibly counterstrike with a surprise EP. Too late, because Kendrick already made history that night in Toronto. But what if we told you there's still one more twist? Katt's latest post. A picture of a lion walking through fire. With the caption, "He told y'all the first time. Y'all didn't listen. Now, listen close." Just when the world thought they had seen the climax of this Toronto chaos, when fans were dissecting every syllable, every glance, Every pause, Kendrick made Katt Williams drop the final match into the gas tank. In an exclusive podcast appearance, that mysteriously went private hours later. Katt finally spilled what was on that USB Kendrick was handed mid-show. But before we tell you, just know, this isn't about music anymore. It's about a contract. Katt revealed that the USB didn't contain a diss track. No, it held a video recording from 2015. It's allegedly filmed during a private OVO meeting in LA. The clip, according to Katt, shows Drake, a high-level executive, and two other unnamed artists discussing how to neutralize Kendrick's street appeal and block his upcoming album from playlist visibility. Yes, a full-on suppression strategy. The footage was reportedly leaked by a former intern who left the label on bad terms, was passed around like forbidden knowledge between a few underground producers and DJs before reaching Kendrick through a trusted ally. And here's the real twist. Kendrick had it for years. He just waited for the right moment. Toronto, July, the Grand National Tour. Kendrick had one goal: to humiliate the system. From the inside out, he didn't need to call out names in every song. He already won the war before he stepped on stage. Katt described Kendrick's decision as a spiritual hit job disguised as a concert. And here's where it gets spine-chilling. A few hours after Katt's interview went live, multiple blogs began reporting DMCA takedowns of Kendrick's Toronto footage, but only the middle portion of the show, the part when the USB was handed. The moment Kendrick froze, the crowd gasped. The screens flickered. Censorship or cover-up. And then, dead silence from Kendrick's camp. Again, but one last spark reignited the blaze. Fans zoomed in on a freeze frame of Kendrick walking off stage. That night, in his hand, the USB. But someone zoomed closer and spotted a phrase scratched into its surface. For the silence they tried to buy. Johnny, this isn't just a diss war anymore. This is insurrection music. A lyrical takedown decades in the making. Kendrick's entire brand loyalty, truth, resistance now has receipts. The final scene Katt described left fans speechless. Backstage, Kendrick allegedly whispered to his security, "This won't make headlines, it'll make history." And then walked into the night. No entourage, no cameras, no press release, just victory. But here's where things go FULL conspiracy. Insiders now claim Kendrick has 2 more USB drives, each containing information tied to different artists and execs. And according to whispers in industry circles, they're all connected to attempts to blacklist him back in 2016. So, is this just the beginning? Will Kendrick unleash those next USBs? Will Drake finally respond? Or has the rap game permanently shifted under our feet? Because if Katt is right, and if Kendrick is really holding the strings now, then hip-hop loyalty isn't just dead. It's been sold, buried, and replaced. Dan Kendrick's holding the shovel. Stay ready, because what's coming next ain't just bars. And now, here we are. The truth has been cracked wide open. And what started as a simple concert turned into a full-blown industry expose. From Kendrick's silent war to Katt Williams' fearless commentary, one thing is clearer than ever. This isn't just rap beef. This is legacy warfare. But the real question is, whose side are you on? Do you believe Kendrick had every right to expose the game from the inside? Or do you think he went too far bringing confidential footage to a live stage? And what about Drake? Is he the industry puppet Katt claims he is? Or just a businessman playing smart in a dirty game? We want to hear from you. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Should Kendrick release the other USBs? Is Katt Williams risking his safety by speaking out? Will Drake ever respond, or is silence his strategy? Smash that like button if your jaw dropped even once during this drama. Hit subscribe because, trust me, The next update is going to blow this one out the water. You do not want to miss what we've got coming next. And don't forget to turn on that bell icon, or you might miss the moment Kendrick ends the silence. Once and for all. Because if this is just part 1, part 2 will be the funeral. The war has begun. Now it's your turn to pick a side.